Man, I'm at the point where I just kind of don't care about the Mr. Beast situation anymore. So many people are just disingenuous about it. And Dogpack and that one chick, they kind of just are milking it for money and views, and it's just like, man, you kind of screwed up the cause. So, I'm just gonna laugh. Just gonna laugh at the whole thing, make fun of everybody because everybody sucks. Let's hear what our good friend Mudahar has to say about this situation.
Ooh, hello guys and gals, me Mudahar, and I'm a little bit sick, but ladies and gentlemen, we've got a wild video today, and ever since I've been covering some of this Mr. Beast stuff, for the last several months, it's been one of
I was just gonna watch the video myself, but I figured it was a waste of time. I'm just gonna watch somebody else who has watched it explain it to me.
those stories where, to this day, even the man himself has not answered, and it's been kind of this game that goes back and forth, and it's kind of one of these stories that just keeps having, like, M. Night Shyamalan-esque turns, okay? Like, twists and turns everywhere. It's like I'm watching Signs all over again. Now, why are we talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, in such a, grave way? Well, there's one channel by the name of Soggy Cereal, 266,000 subscribers, that has made a
That video got recommended to me. I didn't watch it because I wanted to wait, see what everybody has to say about it. Good thing I did, because there's some crazy stuff been coming out.
feature-length reveal on Mr. Beast has actually covered many of the actual accusations brought forward, which there are a lot of. So for this video and the concise nature of it, I'm really going to be focusing on things that really, I feel, are the most important. So I'm not going to be jumping into war crimes or CGI or anything of that nature. Now, to give context over here, about a few months ago, there was a user known as Dogpack404. Now, Dogpack404 is a pretty, I guess you could say, up-and-coming YouTuber. He's got 2 videos uploaded. There used to be 3, but the third one got...
Yeah, when he first started, he was like, I'm not doing this for clout, I'm not doing this for views, I'm doing it because I believe in the cause. What happened to that? He's basically just another content creator at this point. He said he didn't want to be.
Got removed, for why we'll find out later. Now, here he uploaded a video 3 months ago. They got 15 million views. I worked for Mr. Beast. He's a fraud. Now, there was a second part to this video where, again, things get even more intense. And obviously, you can see that it clearly is a pretty big point for YouTube when the largest creator on the platform is being called out for some pretty serious shit. Now, initially, Soggy Cereal starts this video off with what appears to be Dogpack404 getting fired. So I want you to listen to this to set the tone.
Yes. You're pushing back on everything that we're saying. So
Well, because you're trying to fire me, and I want to work at this company.
I'm the CEO of this company. If I'm talking, don't interrupt.
And I've been trying to get to this point of working on Mr. Beast for a long time. Can I please have a second chance?
Yeah, you just heard somebody get completely fired from their job. Now, what
How do we know that's real, though? How do we know that's real? Get confirmation on that.
happens when an employee gets fired? They either walk away into the sunset, seek new employment, or they start one of the wildest internet campaigns that you could imagine. Now, to give you an idea, there were a couple things that I wanted to hit, so I want to start this video off with a pretty hard-hitting point. Now, in one of Dogpack's video, he mentions a character known as Delaware. Now, Delaware is an individual that actually has
We all know Delaware. We familiar with Delaware?
a real conviction behind the belt, okay? This is somebody that actually is in the sex offender camp of convictions. Now, inside this entire story, Jake Weddle, one of the people being interviewed by Dogpack, actually had basically come in and talked about this. In one of these long interviews, Jake Weddle mentions the guy was banished by the state.
Even if that guy didn't do anything, they still knew about it and he was still around. And what if he's one of the people in the Discord servers?
I feel like this guy was more genuine than Dogpack. I didn't at first. I don't know, though. I don't know. Let's see what this video says about him.
If he's not, I don't know. But when I was there, they called him Delaware. It's like, why do you call him Delaware? I didn't know. Apparently, they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware. That's his nickname? Colloquially? Like, yeah, it's Delaware.
Now, initially at this moment in time, kind of the red flag was sort of being raised, because generally getting banished by a state is some pretty big information. Now, according to Soggy, who got in touch with a few of these people,
Yeah, but getting banished by Delaware is not that hard to do, honestly.
People working at the company, one of them being Dustin Harris, ends up actually sending this message. And this is where, again, I want to remind you, when I first covered this story, when I first covered this section, I was genuine when I was saying I don't think there's any good answer to it. But this is some much needed context. Dustin Harris says, as far as Delaware goes, he was just a local Best Buy manager Jimmy found. The company was growing really quickly, and it was just Jimmy and 2 or 3 friends. So he went to Best Buy and hired like 3 people. One of them was named Delaware, Best Buy called him that, and we didn't make it up, and he ran the store. I guess Jimmy figured if Best Buy thought he was good enough to manage a giant store, then he was probably good enough to run a YouTube channel. I feel like those are 2 completely separate things, but
that is an insane comparison. I basically ran a whole Dollar General. That doesn't mean that I should be running Hassan Piker's Twitch streams.
sure, which was dumb, but Jimmy was like 18 at the time, so not surprising. We do background checks now and have a super in-depth hiring process. People tend to think of a giant company we are now when they hear stories, but it wasn't a 300-person company then. It was like 5 guys buying a car with pennies on the weekend. So clearly Mr. Beast's company is far larger. Like, obviously they're making more extravagant content, but back in the early days of spinning a fidget spinner and saying some name a million times, Mr. Beast's company was, of course, very small. Now, somebody that also, is in the small business world, I understand what it can be when you're starting a company.
I don't. Like, bro, if I'm gonna hire, the first person I hire, I am going to make sure that there is nothing that can come back to me. That's what happens when you just hire your friends.
And you do make some mistakes. However, I think hiring a registered sex offender is not a mistake that should, again, be washed away so lightly. But the point they mentioned, Best Buy, again, the idea was if Best Buy hires you, they probably ended up doing the actual due diligent background checks. Now, again, maybe this is a bigger concern that I have with even Best Buy. How is somebody who actually has that record, one that would take like $50 to get a proper background check done, how did Best Buy not find it? So again, this is one of those things where people look at it and say, okay, maybe it kind of makes sense how you let this hiring go through. So Delaware's first appearance was on Jimmy's YouTube channel. Right here you can see that Delaware is standing without actually having a mask. Now if you look very carefully, Delaware's t-shirt will actually say Best Buy, so it actually has Delaware written on it. So it wasn't a name that they came up with over at the Mr. Beast Studios in order to like run some weird sick joke, as that Jake Weddle idiot put it. If you actually listen to the Jake Weddle interview again, it really comes across as they had this really sick joke where they actually knew the guy was banished from Delaware, named them that because of the crime, and were obviously like putting him with masks on, so
I mean, still it could be though. Still, it could have been running as a joke that like this is why his name's Delaware. And that's pretty gross. I mean, I'm still on Weddle's side. Mudahar hasn't flipped me from Weddle. I don't like Dogpack. I don't like that one chick. I can't remember her name. The Moldy Lunchables. Or Lunchly.
somehow conceal their identity. Now, I feel like this is, again, taking a situation like this way to the extreme ends of real truthdom, okay? Why did this conspiracy cook...
Yeah, but this guy kind of seems like he's a little on edge, you know, kind of a pussy, if you will. I bet he got over emotional about everything.
Up by this delusional comedian actually happened to make it through Dogpack's video. It literally makes no sense whatsoever. Now again, these are always like he said, she said scenarios, but really the video footage in combination with Dustin's message makes more sense. The guy clearly...
At this point, I'm just waiting for bad things to come out so I can laugh at it and make me a little money, make me a couple bucks.
Worked at Best Buy. The name was identified at Best Buy, and it's pretty reasonable to assume that the guy actually, you know, didn't have this crazy nickname cooked up at Mr. Beast Studios. The guy literally was just some dude Delaware they knew at the time who they hired into the company. Now again, it doesn't make the situation less fucked up. All right, this
I think it's very possible that they were still using it as a joke.
makes the context of these people being evil sickos Obviously, not as evil as some would think, but obviously, if you're hiring anybody into your company at all, you should probably make sure for the safety of yourself and the people around you that people do not have crazy sex offenses like this, okay? And even according to Soggy's video, Delaware was fired about half a decade ago. So in Dogpack's video, there was a moment where through a voice changer, an employee was brought into the mix.
Okay, so finally I have a recorded phone conversation. The person on the other end of this line is a different former Mr. Beast employee talking about Delaware. Also, apparently before this phone conversation got recorded, the person on the other end of the line said that the Mr. Beast team was actually trying to expunge Delaware's record off the registry, and that's what actually like sparked this person to start recording.
Was the reason I started, like, to be completely honest with you, the reason I started was extra money was there, like, it didn't fall back and say, you know what I mean? Like, if Jimmy was like, I need a set done, and Delaware was like, would you do it for, like, $1,000? Well, that's, like, just go out there and fucking make a set for, like,
Do we know who this person is that's talking? I don't.
8 hours. I would say, you know, I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever. And it was Reed's idea to get him fired. And it was like, we need to get you an APL manager. And then we went through that whole cycle of different VPs and managers and, you know, people that won't talk to us anymore because they're scared of Jimmy. And if you really don't do anything in the affidavits or testimonials from people, you have to move very quickly because one of those people are going to go back.
Now, again, this employee got into Soggy's video and basically revealed the fact that they actually didn't even consent to that interview in the first place.
So it is real. Okay, we know that much then. We know that much. It's real. See, I don't know what's real anymore. I have to, like, have the receipts for everything now.
So this is a serious no-no when it comes to investigating anyone, right? For instance, they thought the call was literally just gossip and nothing on that call was actually stated with, you know, real evidence or facts. It was quite literally, according to this person, water cooler talk.
I mean, yeah. To say that I felt tricked or used is an understatement. Like, they knowingly came and did this. You know, I had like 3 or 4 contacts call me the night that it dropped, and I was watching the whole video trying to figure out like what they were talking about, and when it got to that recording, my stomach just like sank.
All because of a call that they unconsensually recorded, which you clarified was basically rumors and gossip.
Yeah, I didn't want to be involved with, didn't even know what was going on. That, you know, I
That's why you don't talk shit, man. That's why you don't talk shit.
was just thrown into unconsensually, and yeah, you said it, man. I just it threw a pretty big wall up.
So I'm going to talk about ethics real quickly, okay? When you record anyone for a call, like even if you live in a one-party consent state, like I do in Ontario, Canada, when investigating, when doing any internet investigation, especially on super serious topics like this, I do record every single call, all right? And it's always usually not to catch somebody, but it's mostly for me to note take and, you know, re-experience what I was saying, you know, maybe a couple days ago. So in this situation,
Same. I record every interaction. If I'm doing a live interaction, it's getting recorded.
when you record somebody, you have to explicitly set them up with the knowledge that they are actually being recorded, and more specifically, on the record. If that person had no idea that they were on the record, then in my opinion, it's a serious, massive miss on the part of Dogpack. And I know he and plenty
One of many.
of people will say that he's not a journalist. It's one of the common deflections I've seen about this, but it doesn't matter. And when you make a video that garners over 10 million views, it could be
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're not a journalist when you're trying to be a journalist. He should have got a journalist to help him if he was going to play journalist.
even be 1,000 views. When you make a video where you're pushing serious claims like this, you have to make sure every single claim you bring forward has evidence and actual fact brought into it. But not just that, it's ethically sourced. If you're recording people without their consent or them being on the record, then what you say shouldn't really be an admissible thing. The only time, all right, any time a recording that I've ever leaked or released in full is when threatened with lawsuits, but that's an entirely different story. I have tons of stuff in investigations and recordings that could be juicy in a video, especially if it's cut all the way out of context. But when things are off the record explicitly, it's off the record, right? So again, I don't understand why this wasn't treated properly. And again, the way that Dogpack encountered this is literally release the entire actual recording, and at some point have the person notified that they're being recorded and on the record. If that doesn't exist, then we're a little worried. Now, in my videos, I looked at another user by the name of Jake the Viking who had mentioned how Jimmy's mom knew about this situation even at the time of Delaware's hiring. And while him, on his own side of the aisle, he's considered to be a dubious individual, it really casts a whole new light on the hiring of Delaware. Was this guy brought in and did the entire company treat him as some malicious, inside joke of being an actual RSO? Or was it somebody they picked up off from Best Buy and they just didn't assume to do a background check, even though they probably 1000% should have? Is Mr. Beast a complete idiot for hiring this guy? Absolutely. Should a $50 background check have been done? Absolutely.
I think Mr. Beast is a complete idiot for everything that he does. I don't think that he pays attention to his company. I think he's just worried about him being on top and making the most amount of money that he can while also cutting as many corners as he can. That's what happens when you get that big and that corporate with that many employees.
But is it this massive conspiracy that Dogpack, Jake Weddle, and all these people have sort of brought up? Probably not, with all the added context and information that we just got. This kind of reminds me of even situations with Mama Max where there might be some tidbits of truth, but when it's completely overshadowed by this, insane want to make a juicier story and have the internet gobble up this crazy stuff, it makes any reasonable person.
Yeah, when I really started to notice it was around when they were making fun of Lunchley. I was like, what does Lunchley have to do with Mr. Beast, really? I mean, yeah, he's involved in it, but they were taste testing Lunchley and talking about Lunchley. I thought this wasn't a content creation game. I thought you were exposing the inner workings of Mr. Beast, not his outer workings. Everybody already sees the Lunchley stuff.
Question, what else has Dogpack, or really anybody investigating this, actually hyped up? When you're presenting serious stories, you need to do it seriously, you need to do it ethically. The Delaware story, in my opinion, is already fucked up, and you don't need to make it even wilder by creating this conspiratorial story inside the Mr. Beast studios. It's bad that you're hiring people like that. It's as simple as it is. Now, later on, there are other allegations that Soggy discusses, and plenty of people have actually looked into. One of them was actually the war crime allegation. So if you watch Dogpack's video, the allegation actually relates to Jake Weddle, who participated in this Mr. Beast challenge, where he was earning money by doing this Mr. Beast challenge. And while he claimed that he experienced some suffering, he experienced pain, the comparison to his suffering and the Geneva Convention and United Nations Torture Convention is completely fucking flabbergasting. Because at the end of the day, one person gets paid to participate in a pretty lucrative job, and the other person is in a black site getting fucking tortured, okay?
I get that. I really do get that. But I think adding payment to getting tortured is not good at all. I think that's crossing the line. The actual Geneva Conventions was obviously way worse and crosses a completely different line. But still, although they took that statement and ran with it and tried to emotionally manipulate people, and I don't like that.
Very, very different scenarios. Again, you don't have to make things super duper juicy. If you already have reasonably damning stuff, stick with that. Why even go out of your way to throw the most insane points just for the internet attention? It completely dilutes the entire investigation.
After he said that he didn't want any of that.
When people do this kind of shit. So at this moment in time, down the road, there was one more actual investigation, one piece that really interested me. It was actually the illegal lotteries that Mr. Beast was alleged to be operating.
Yes.
So
I need more info about this.
These lotteries in Dogpack's video, according to Soggy, is completely disproven. Thankfully, due to the Wayback Machine. You know what I talk about how important having Wayback Machine is? I'm not even joking. It allows you to literally grab any YouTube link, even ones that have their videos deleted, throw them into a Wayback Machine and just dig up what the video or the...
I'm probably going to title this video, I was wrong about Mr. Beast. Still hate him. But that's the title. I was wrong about Mr. Beast.
The description or titles look like at the time. Now, I've done this for investigations in the past, and personally, I should have caught this, but one of the things that Soggy brought up was a interesting YouTube user interface layout. So on the right, you can actually see what is a real YouTube layout, and on the left appears to be a layout that is completely doctored. And the way that you can kind of identify this is you can see that the likes and dislikes are not appearing. And now YouTube's removed dislikes, but they haven't removed likes. So why that doesn't show up is weird. And obviously the date the video is posted is placed in a rather odd location. Now, this can't be chalked up to, oh, maybe the user interface was different at the time of upload. Even through the Wayback Machine, it still doesn't match this. So whether this was a convenient editing, trick to basically create a user interface to make the video look like, it was actually hosted, or this was a screen grab, is questionable. And it's one thing that I think people should honestly look at. What else are you willing to obfuscate? Now, the reason why this is such a big deal is in the Wayback Machine, you can actually look up the description for the video that, again, Dogpack is going after. And in the description, you can actually see that the entire mentioning of free entries for the sweepstake, which is what the contention of illegal lotteries was, actually got mentioned. So why wasn't this brought up in the video itself? That is a pretty serious mention. Did you want to make things look?
That literally changes fucking everything. That literally changes everything. Just that one thing changes everything about that whole situation. It makes it from illegal to legal. Because the whole point was you were getting people to buy into your sweepstakes for a chance. No, everybody was able to just enter for free.
Juicy? Did you want to deliberately modify evidence so that you can present things in a worse light? Because that, like I said, is incredibly fucking unethical. And it's one thing that deserves to be...
Well, that's it. That's it. Dogpack. You're out. Full of shit. Don't care about anything you got to say now. He's done.
Called out. Again, if someone is doctoring evidence or presenting things in a bad faith manner, every single allegation you've made comes into question, as it rightfully should. So it's why when I've ever researched anyone or have actually brought forward serious allegation, it's working with...
Unfortunately, this is extremely good for Mr. Beast, and he's probably going to get even bigger, but, as the things get bigger, they tend to fall apart even more, because one person can't handle all of that, and unfortunately for him, he is the face of it.
What you actually have and can prove in a video, right? If I show you IRS documentation, it's because you can download that for yourself and actually go through it line by line alongside me in the video. If I show you some crazy shit happening on the blockchain, I'll walk you all the way from the beginning to the very end, so nothing seems out of place, and you, the viewer, can come up with your own conclusions, not presenting things in a way that's going to have you come to a conclusion I want you to. All right, that's how I think investigation should be handled, and it wasn't how it was handled over here. So the next big thing was spreading CP allegations. Now, again, anytime you involve creators and CP or something like that, this is...
you better be serious, man. This better not just be emotional manipulation. And it ends up being emotional manipulation every time.
This is a pretty...
Sick of it.
Serious point, okay? Now, remember that baker lady, Rosanna Pansino, I talked about? Well, she uploaded a video where it was titled, Mr. Beast Knew All Along, 1,000 leaked messages. Now,
that was her name, Rosanna Pansino. Let's see. Is she still credible?
Inside the description over here, you can see that Rosanna Pansino is saying, these Mr. Beast company work chat logs have been confirmed as legitimate. So immediately you're looking at this and you're wondering, why is this that big of a deal? Well, if you look carefully at this image, one that I have to blur out even more is an image of what appears to be Ivanka Trump when she was 13.
Wrong. She was not. She was 19.
So this image is one that's censored by Rosanna Pansino, one that I've also further censored on my own. Comes across.
Yeah, that's just another one. That's just another one. These people are disingenuous. And they probably know this by now, that she was actually 19 and didn't say anything because it was all over social media.
As a actual video where allegedly they were sharing CP in the group chats. Now, this is a pretty serious allegation. Again, if you distribute any form of material like this, it's not protected by the First Amendment. You can, in fact, see yourself go to jail for 5 to 20, and in some cases...
I think you can, even if you're sharing it thinking that it's real.
30 years, as you rightfully should. Now, what kind of evidence was kind of brought up forward over here? Well, let's look carefully. In one case, no form of alleged was being used. It pretty much was treated like actual CP was shared. Now, this group chat from Telegram actually ended up not being a work chat, so already a mistake right there.
Oh.
If you look at this actual chat, when the group was made in 2019, Ava, Chris Tyson, makes it, I created this chat for NSFW memes.
See, this is why I just react to stuff instead of putting out my own videos. Because I would get stuff wrong like this, and I know I would, and that's why I don't do it.
Because the other...
So if I'm wrong, it's because somebody misinformed me.
Other people in the dumpster fire ones are normies, and of course, the further you see this, even Ava gets mad that anytime somebody shares stuff work-related, that's work stuff. This is a non-company meme chat. Like, dog, it is so easy to actually uncover this that it's not even funny. Like, you can absolutely discover this for yourself, okay? You don't need anybody else to tell you. You can research this on your own. Now, in a deleted community post that thankfully was archived by Soggy and plenty of other people in the community was when Dogpack had mentioned this. New Mr. Beast leaks, emoji, 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 fire, fire, fire. Ro and I, that's Rosanna, got access to some of Mr. Beast's internal work chats. We have to sort through them and censor all the naked pictures before leaking them all. But we just went through some of the chats on... What? Oh, wait, they thought they had CP on there? Wait, naked pictures? Whoa, hold on a minute there. I just had logical Larry here message me through my schizophrenia, boys. If the images contained what you believe to be CP, if they did, you can't just be possessing them. You can't be sorting through them and censoring them. Just merely possessing CP.
Yeah, that goes directly to the FBI and out of your hands. You are not a vigilante. Vigilantism is illegal.
Is a criminal act. Like, bro, this isn't goofy drama. This is an actual criminal act that we as a community rake anybody over the coals over. For possession of CP in the United States federally, you can expect 5 to 20 years of jail time specifically for transportation, which depending on how...
Not just that, it gets even worse. You're going to be vilified by literally everyone. You won't be able to get a job. Nobody will work with you.
How the law is interpreted in a courtroom could mean that if you shared this internally between people on the internet, okay, in the group chats, as you're, editing these videos and censoring things out, that is illegal, okay? Even if it's your first time, even if it's your actual issue, you are actually facing 5 to 20 years of prison, okay? It's fucked up. So in the video, apparently it was reverse engineered, what they believe to be CP, like reverse...
I've been saying this for a while. This whole, oh, Mr. Beast is a daemon, or oh, Mr. Beast is the Antichrist. It's garbage. Get that out of here. He's just an asshole like Logan Paul and KSI. They're all assholes. They're all garbage humans. Doesn't make them evil. Logan Paul might be evil. But I don't think Mr. Beast is. I just think he's stupid. Incredibly, incredibly stupid. And just happened to have a decent enough personality to get this huge following and cashed in on something that nobody was doing at the time that he was doing it. And he kept innovating.
Image search, which again, if you believe it's CP, why would you even try to do that in the first place? Anyways, the picture they censored in the video was actually an 18-year-old image of Ivanka Trump from GQ magazine. So again, if this took 30 minutes to find, why even falsely accuse someone of distributing seriously illegal material?
And did they correct it? I don't think so, because that would make them look not credible.
The people that are defending the Dogpack stuff need to look at stuff like this and say, this is very fucking reckless, and it shouldn't have happened in the first place. Again, I don't even think Mr. Beast is going to sue, because honestly, it's too much of a public perception hit.
Yeah, and like, Mr. Beast is basically just gonna snap right back. All of the money that he lost, all of the followers that he lost, is gonna all snap right back. People are gonna forget about it anyway.
But if I was in his situation, bro, it would take a lot for me not to contact my legal team and issue some fucking actual attack back. Because if you're gonna accuse somebody...
Honestly, get him in a video. Put him in a Mr. Beast video as punishment. Be like, hey, listen. You could either work with us for a video, or we're suing the fuck out of you. That's what I'd do.
Of distributing CP, you better make sure that you have actually confirmed that they're distributing illegal material. So while Ava is sending this stuff can be disgusting, even with the context of this being a discussion involving controversial figures like Jeffrey Epstein and trafficking, it's completely irresponsible to say there was CP distributed when it isn't. It's just bad faith reporting. And this...
The whole thing was irresponsible and bad faith. We know that now.
Level of mischaracterization has any reasonable person questioning not just the evidence, but even the motives of the people involved. Look, if this video that I'm making hasn't convinced you to question everything, I don't know what will.
I was already questioning most things, but a lot of things seemed definite because there were just so many people talking about it.
Okay? And why is it that a baker on the internet and, this one disgruntled employee aren't being questioned far more seriously? Like, you can't just take everything somebody says at face value. You shouldn't take what Dogpack says at face value, nor Soggy, nor what I say. Do actual research. Look at these situations objectively. So one of the actual responses that I keep seeing Dogpack make is, I'm not a professional journalist or investigator. My goal is just to bring credible allegations to light so they can be properly investigated. So I find that response of not being a journalist to be incredibly infuriating. Like, dude, no one's asking you to have a journalism degree or work 5 years in an institution, but it's pretty obvious to not be a bad faith person. The people defending this, in vain of Mr. Beast being this evil figure in their minds, are... Dogpack is not this brave person to come forward with this stuff. Dogpack, if these are actual serious allegations, is only making things worse if there's actual malfeasance. Because now everyone's questioning the story. Guys, it's okay to question people. It's okay to understand that no one in the story appears to really be a great person, okay? You can not like Mr. Beast, you can hold him to task, and you can also say, this dipshit Dogpack should absolutely should be raked over the coals.
He should get off the internet, man. He should get off the internet. I don't want to see his bullshit anymore. I hate liars. I really do. I hate when people lie to literally everyone and say that they're not doing it for clout or for attention, and then they do this kind of stuff. Like, all right, get out of here.
For a serious level of bad faith that we're seeing right here. One of the point of contentions for me was when Dogpack accused an individual known as James Warren of domestic abuse. Now, at the time, they tried to get in touch with the source.
I heard a little bit about this, but I was already, like, out of the whole drama by that time. So I was like, I just don't care. Really?
Who allegedly found charges, but instead of confirming all of that beforehand, they went forward to make this video known as Mr. Beast Secret CEO, which literally just got removed, I think like a week ago at this point, while being up, getting millions of views for, I think over like a month and a half at this point. So until a Mr. Beast employee reached out and confirmed that James Warren Dogpack had mentioned was different, likely not even the same person, with actual pending FOIA requests, is completely wild. Like, how are you going forward with a pretty serious allegation when you yourself haven't completely confirmed it? Like, I get it, you're not an investigator, but you also shouldn't be this reckless and stupid. Like, this is an incredibly serious situation. If you were attaching somebody's real name...
I'm not an investigator, but I'm investigating.
...to a serious allegation, you better make sure things are perfect, or getting sued is probably the least of your worries. Arguably, the only actual allegation that I think Dogpack might have actually gotten right is maybe one of the illegal lotteries, when there was like no mention of free entries, like some previous lotteries. So maybe there might be a gotcha there, but honestly, like anything...
It's all too muddy now. It's all too muddy. Dogpack screwed it up. Dogpack and that Rosanna chick, they screwed it up by putting that emotional manipulation crap in there. Trying to force a narrative. Trying to get their story.
In these videos, I've said, when it comes to illegal lotteries or sweepstakes, it would actually be more impressive to see actual legal insight. Like, instead of opinions of me, Dogpack, or Soggy, or anyone that's talked on this whole scenario, it maybe is better to have legal understanding, discuss this situation, and describe what is illegal and what isn't. Because again, what matters through state to state, what matters in front of the federal government is always usually different and interpreted different. So I would like to hear a lawyer's opinion. That might be my only concern with all of this. I think any...
Wonder what Legal Eagle's got to say about this. Guarantee he's going to make a video.
Form of sweepstakes or lotteries when your channel is aimed towards children is a bit on the predatory side. But I feel like all of this is probably best discussed by a lawyer. Now, about a week ago, I looked at a crypto expose regarding Mr. Beast that was actually pretty damning. And since then, plenty of other channels...
Yeah, what he's talking about there was convincing other people that something is going to explode in value so it could explode in value. That's pretty shady.
Like CoffeeZilla have covered it, and from Mr. Beast's own mouth, it appears to be a situation where he mostly moves some funds to other people to operate crypto stuff for him. So how much of that do I personally trust? Honestly, not that much at all. I think for a guy who is so into cryptocurrency, I have to ask why he just moved money and pretty much never followed up on it, especially if that fund was doing as well as it allegedly was. Like, if I gave money to a group of people, I would periodically check up. And it only makes me raise questions and makes me wonder if the irresponsibility of Mr. Beast running that company at 18, 19, hiring RSOs, is still not somewhat of a fact today. Like, bro, this is actually quite recent. It's not even that old. Like, you gotta give a much better explanation than one that has you gapped away by proxy. So I think asking commentary channels and creators to review videos, and this is from Mr. Beast's idea, where, you know, Mr. Beast sent out messages to friends of the channel like Caleb, Turkey Tom, to cover this entire video is incredibly weird. And even Soggy agrees, it's just not the play.
Yeah, like, don't... trying way too hard to get behind the person that's trying to defend you. When they're not actually defending you, they are offending the people who are disingenuous.
So according to Soggy over here, there's some things that have come to my attention that I find concerning. He has confirmed the one I personally feel most disgusted by being Mr. Beast DMing my video to creators, asking to take responsibility and accountability for the very serious allegations he still needs to clear up. He has confirmed done illegal things and showcased scummy behavior he still has to respond to, not just from my videos, but from other videos, notably regarding things like cryptocurrency. Because that isn't just baseless slander. And it's something that even Mr. Beast pointed on Soggy's video. Finally, a video that doesn't spread baseless slander about me.
I'm about to watch that CoffeeZilla video.
LOL. Like, bro, you still have to actually address the crypto stuff, some of that Lunchley stuff, and really a lot of the other questionably illicit stuff that has happened. So I also feel used since it seems he's using my video, which I credited to inform people of Dogpack404's untrustworthy nature, as well as hold Mr. Beast accountable for shit he should be held accountable for as a shield. Which I hate, because if there's one good thing that came out of Dogpack's video is that it removed Jimmy's Golden Boy Boy Scout shield that had been protecting him from criticism for years. A shield that should not have existed in the first place. And I wholeheartedly agree. I think plenty of creators are infallible. I think there's plenty of creators that make serious mistakes. And as a human being, you should always...
Yeah, you see what's happening to PewDiePie right now. He didn't do nothing and he's getting hate. Like, people should switch over from this Mr. Beast drama over to the PewDiePie drama. And defend PewDiePie.
Strive to do the best. If it's one thing I can give Soggy after watching his entire video and researching this even from a closer lens, it's from an investigator to an investigator, neutrality is incredibly important. And this video held both Dogpack to the fire as it did Mr. Beast. And it's not an exoneration. Like, don't get me wrong, Mr. Beast still has a lot of stuff to answer for. But this is how you do an
And he's going to be making more mistakes along the way.
investigation that is completely neutral, an investigation that is, pretty, up there to hold both parties to task and refocus on pretty serious things. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been, the Mr. Beast stuff, the Mr. Beast follow-ups on follow-ups. And while I'm personally enamored by the story, and obviously I think with the people watching these videos, I think you all are enamored as well too, I try not to go into over-presenting these things because, like I said, not everything out of the story really grabs me, but as it develops, it's one that I feel pretty comfortable sharing because I think holding a creator up to task that has questionably done some really shady things is one thing that I've done on my channel for several years now. Probably something that I've done as I've grown more closer and more comfortable uploading myself on the internet. I've done this for years. And what I've seen with Mr. Beast is not something that I've seen far off with people like Logan Paul, people like Gerard, people like really anybody who has crafted, or at least once crafted, a pretty infallible image on the internet, right? But this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
I just don't trust anybody who is bought by these big corporations like Amazon who have monopolies. It's just fishy to me whenever they get behind Mr. Beast and people like Mr. Beast. And I don't think that should be happening. I don't think people like Mr. Beast should be wanting to work with these large companies. But that's just me. Anyway, Dogpack is trash, Mr. Beast is trash, Mutahar is awesome, and so are you.